So welcome to this latest video 162 Math, and in this video we'll be going over some GCSE Maths higher exam questions based around harder quadratic factorising. Now as always, I'll include a copy of the questions that we go through in this video in a link in the description below, and I'll also include some several lesson links that go over all the prior knowledge you need to answer these types of questions in more detail as links in the description as well. Now before we get started working through some past exam questions related to factorising harder quadratics, let's just have a quick overview over what sort of prior knowledge you need to know before tackling these questions. Now you need to know how to factorise quadratics both with a single x squared and with multiple x squareds. Now this may be done through inspection or it may be done using the magic number method. Now if you're not sure about that, I strongly advise you watch a lesson going through it, which I'll include a link on how to do that in the description. You also need to know how to spot a difference of two squares, or a dots is how I like to abbreviate it as. So that's really important when cancelling fractions out and factorising fully. So knowing when you can spot a difference of two squares. And again, lesson links are in the description. You also need to know how to solve quadratics because they tend to be more your B and C part questions, and also close links with algebraic fractions. So obviously you need to know how to factorise a quadratic expression so you can cancel terms down when using algebraic fractions. Now again, a little reminder that you can access all the questions that we go through in this video by clicking on the link in the description. So looking at question 1, it says factorise, and we've got 2x squared plus 15x plus 7. Now yes, you can do these by inspections, and the 2 marks available are for each correct bracket. So if you can get the bracket without doing any working out, then you'll still get 4 marks for it. However, me personally, I like to show a bit of working out. So in terms of using the magic number method, we can see that the magic number is going to be 2 times positive 7, which is 14. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply together to give you 14, or positive 14 I should say, and added together give us our B value, which is 15. So here my 2 numbers are going to be 14 and 1. So swapping the 15x with 14 and 1x, I get 2x squared plus 1x plus 14x plus 7. Then I factorise the pairs. So common factor here is going to be x. So here I've just got 2x plus 1. And then here I've got a common factor of 7. So here it's going to be 2x rather, plus 1. And then as you can see, my brackets are both the same, so I'm looking good for doing this correctly. So my correct answer is going to be 2x plus 1 and x plus 7. Then moving on to question 2, it says factorise 4x squared plus x minus 3. So again, magic number is going to be minus 12. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply together give me minus 12, but added together give me positive 1. So it's going to be 4 and 3. And it's going to be minus 3. So here I've got 4x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 3. Then factorising the pairs, I get 4x and then x plus 1 and 3x plus 1. Both brackets are the same, so it looks all good to say that I've done it correctly. So one bracket is going to be 4x minus 3. And the other bracket is going to be x plus 1. Then moving on to question 3, it says factorise fully 18x cubed minus 8y. So again, taking this out, the common factor is going to be 2y. So I end up with 9y squared minus 4. And then from this, what you then want to do is spot that this is a difference of 2 squares. So keeping the 2y separate, what you have to square to get 9y squared, well that's going to be 3y. And what you have to square to get 4, well that's going to be 2. And I've got plus and a minus. So my final answer is 2y, 3y plus 2 and 3y minus 2. It doesn't matter which order you do those brackets, it'll still give you the same answer. Moving on to question 4, it says factorise 16a squared minus b squared. So again, this is another dots question. So setting up my bracket, What do you have to square to get 16a squared? Well, that's going to be 4a. What do you have to square to get b squared? Well, that's going to be b. One's a plus and one's a minus. Then moving on to 5a, it says factorise 5x squared minus 45. Well, first of all, common factor is going to be 5. So it's going to be x squared minus 9. And then this again is another dot. So it's going to be 5. And then set up my double bracket. What do I have to square to get x squared? Well, that's going to be x. What do I have to square to get 9? That's going to be 3. One's a plus, one's a minus, and there's my final answer. Moving on to 5b, it says factorise 5x squared plus 4xy minus y squared. Now, if I start by just ignoring the y, so if I've got 5x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now, for the y, all I've got to do is just stick a y in the second term of each bracket. So factorising this, my magic number is going to be minus 60. So two numbers that multiply together give me minus 60. Added together give me positive 4. And that's going to be, my two numbers are going to be 6 and 10. Where the 6 is going to be negative. So then factorising this, I get 5x squared plus 10x minus 6x minus 12. And then factorising the pairs, I get 5x, x plus 2 minus 6, x plus 2. So then looking at my two brackets, I end up with 5x and minus 6 and x plus 2. And then don't forget the y. So I just stick a y there and a y there. And again, to double check, I can just expand the brackets out, but eventually it will give me this. Moving on to question 6, it says simplify fully x squared minus 9 all over 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So looking at the top, that's a difference of two squares. So that's going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. And then this term here, this expression, and then need to use a magic number way. So that's going to be looking at 2x, or my magic number here is going to be minus 6. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together give me minus 6, added together give me minus 5. So my numbers are going to be 6 and 1, and it's going to be minus 6. So looking at my expression then for this, it's going to be, well, let's use pink. So we've got 2x squared minus 6x plus 1x minus 5. Then factorising the pairs, I'm going to get, oh, it should be a 3 there, sorry. So then from this, what we then got is taking 2x out, so that becomes x minus 3 plus x minus 3. So then my two brackets are 2x plus 1 and x minus 3. So going back to the original fraction, I've got 2x plus 1 and x minus 3. Then from this, I notice that the x minus 3's cancel. So my final answer is x plus 3 as the numerator and 2x plus 1 as the denominator. Moving on to question 7, it says factorise fully 10m squared minus 160p squared. So looking at this, it's not a difference of squares at first glance because 10 is not a square number, but I can take 10 out as a common factor. So I'm going to have m squared minus 16p squared. Now this is a difference of two squares. Ignore why I've just crossed that off. I meant to highlight it. So this is a difference of two squares. So then it becomes 10. And then set up my double brackets. I've got m, and I'm going to end up with 4p. And one's a plus and one's a minus. It then says for 7b, it says you are given that p equals 2 and 10m squared minus 160p squared equals 0. Use your answer in part A to work out the value of m. So I know that this expression here is 10 and it was m plus 4p and m minus 4p, and that equals 0. Now if p equals 2, then I'm going to get 10 It's going to be m plus 8, m minus 8 equals 0. I can divide both sides by 10, in which the 10 cancels out, so I'm just left with m plus 8, m minus 8 equals 0. And so then my answers for m are either going to be plus or minus 8. Then moving on to question 8, it says to factorise fully, and then we've got our expression here. Now this is quite complicated in terms of what it is. Now for this, what we've got is a common bracket of what the two terms have got. So here I've got two terms. I've got these two terms. Now what have these two terms got in common? Well, they've both got an a plus b. So if I take a plus b as a common factor out, then here what do I need to multiply a plus b to get a plus b squared? Well, I need another a plus b. And what do I need to multiply a plus b to get this expression here? Well, I need to add 2a plus 5b. Then if I join these things together, I get a plus b plus 2a plus 5b. Then collecting the like terms, I get 3a plus 6b, a plus b. And then I can factorise this by taking a 3 out. So that then becomes 3 lots of a plus 2b. So then joining these three things together, I get 3 lots of a plus b and a plus 2b. Now again, if you're not sure about where that's come from, well, that's basically come from a plus b multiplied by 3a plus 2b, in which all I've done is just move the 3 to the front and got rid of the times, and it gives me this as my final answer. And that is the last question on this topic test.